Good day, guys. I am doing my first oil change on the Harvest Right freeze dryer, and I did want to point out that I have my freeze dryer in a location where the pump is a little bit hard to access, and I was going to try to do the oil change with the pump in the back of the freeze dryer there, just being lazy. And then I figured I should do it the right way and just take it out. And I'm not disappointed so far because there's only a couple connections. So you have your main vacuum port, your air port right here, and then you just have your electrical wire. And this plugs right into the back of the freeze dryer, as you know. So really not too bad. It is heavy, but I think it's going to be a lot easier to see the sight glass and to go about it this way. I did just run this, so it's pretty hot. Be careful if you're doing it directly after a run, because the twisting hand tightened brass for this was pretty hot. I mean, it's not burning hot, but it was definitely pretty hot, as is this unit here. I'm just going to wipe it down real quick. Quite a bit of dust back there. I need a better way of dealing with that in my location. And then I am going to use this pitcher here that came with the machine. It is a little interesting because watching Retired at 40's video, it kind of looks like this is the first gen pump. The sight glass looks like it's the one that he mentioned was on his. I just bought my machine, but either way, I mean, it's working great, so I'm not disappointed. Maybe it's just a change in the actual sight glass. So this has been 24 batches, so it looks like it's probably about ready. The oil still looks real clear, but just for the sake of keeping the equipment up to par, I'm going to go ahead and do this. So I'm going to hold this down here underneath the spout, and I'm going to twist this knob, and I think that's going to allow the oil to come out here right into the filtered pitcher. Can probably take the demister off to make it go a little faster as well. Get a little aeration in there, just like the laundry detergent. So it looks like that ring kind of stayed put right on the system here. The oil's flowing out at this point. Another tip that I've seen online is to raise the back of this a little bit to help that flow. Definitely nice to run the system before doing the oil change, just like a car. Get everything nice and warmed up, get all that gunk and debris out from the bottom and into the oil. And what I'm going to do is actually use a fresh oil canister, and I'll let this kind of filter out, and we'll probably use this for the next run of oil change after another 25 batches or so. You could use this right away after it's done filtering, but thinking it's probably going to take some time. And that way I have some nice fresh oil again. This doesn't look too bad at all. I probably could have stood for running it a few more times, but like I said, it's just one of those things that you want to take care of. It's an expensive piece of equipment, so not really a bad thing, and so far it hasn't been too bad of a process. So it has really stopped dripping, maybe just a slight drip on it. I'm going to go ahead and close it off. The slight twist there. Close this and let that do its thing. Collect the drip that's on the bottom here. And now for the filling. This is what the machine came with, so I'm going to use the rest of this one. And they also had purchased another quart from Scheels. Alright, so we filled up the rest of this quart that came with the freeze dryer originally, and that's what is being filtered right now, the one that's used obviously. And then this is the other one that I picked up, a little bit of a different bottle, but it's still 1 quart. Premium high vacuum pump oil. Just a heads up, this is available at Scheels in person if you have one of those near you, and if you don't, they also ship it for free, it seems like, if you have a minimum order. They have a lot of freeze drying components there, so cool store. So I'm just gonna pour this in. Like they're saying on other videos, be careful of putting too much in because this oil is very thick. And it looks like what happens, I know that I did this the first time too, I was pouring it, and then all of a sudden, you know, the oil level jumped up and I was almost above where I needed to be. But I would say just kind of pour a little and then see where it settles out on that sight glass right here, and then repeat until you get to about center. So sight glass right now has nothing in it, just that very little that I put in from that used quart, and that used quart probably only had 1/8 left because I did have to dump some out the first time. So let's go in and start pouring. Let it sit for a minute. So far this whole process hasn't been too bad. Pretty simple. I'm just gonna let this other one sit. You can see it's dripping through that filter, which is collecting all the grime. Interesting to see the color difference though, as this is looking completely clear, brand new. Obviously this has been, you know, the pressures have been on this one and maybe a little burnt out even after it's been filtered. A lot of people are using funnels for this. Probably not a bad idea. Although I think this one's a little bit easier to pour than the original blue one, just because of the stout here. Still really nothing in the eye glass. Alright, so looks like we're about halfway there. I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. I did also want to mention, make sure the surface that you're doing this on is level, because that could lead to a misrepresentation in the oil. So that's important as well. I'm just gonna leave that O-ring right on the body here. Looks like this is in decent shape. Nothing too crazy going on. I know a couple of videos out there are explaining how to take this off. I'm not going to try it this time for the demister. And then just be careful of these threads. I always want it to be nice and light with the hand. There we go. And we're all good. We're going to go ahead and reinstall. Honestly, this whole freeze drying experience, I know I'm pretty new at it, but it's been great. I actually love it. It's been fun. Nothing's really been too difficult. I just enjoyed. I enjoy food a lot, and I think that's probably why. Just seeing some of the different creations that are able to be made out of this machine, it's amazing. Alright, I think that's it for today. Thank you.